Retirement is often painted as a golden period. Freedom from the grind, more time for hobbies, relaxation, and spending time with family and friends. But after the initial excitement fades, many find themselves facing a quiet, sometimes heavy loneliness that they weren't prepared for. Have you ever found yourself wondering if reconnecting with old friends might be the answer to this loneliness? Perhaps you thought that by revisiting those familiar faces from your past, you would fill the emotional void that retirement often brings. You might be surprised to learn that this common belief might not be the solution you think it is. What if I told you that turning to old friends when you're lonely might actually make things worse? It's a difficult truth, but an important one to face. In today's video, we're going to uncover 5 unexpected reasons why rekindling past friendships might not always ease the loneliness you're feeling in retirement. From how the nature of relationships changes over time to the hidden dangers of emotional dependence, we'll explore why leaning on old friends for comfort might not be the healthiest choice. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to truly navigate loneliness in retirement and create a fulfilling, enriching life. Number 1. Friendships evolve after retirement. One of the hardest realizations to come to terms with after retirement is that friendships change. You might have envisioned your retirement years as a time when you'd rekindle the close bonds you had with friends. You might have imagined that sitting down for coffee with old friends would take you back to a time when life seemed simpler, when you shared inside jokes, laughter, and life updates. But as much as you wish for things to stay the same, life has a way of moving forward, and so do people. The truth is, friendships are not immune to change. They evolve, sometimes in ways that are beyond our control. Think about Susan from Denver. At 70, she retired from her job as a school teacher. She had always been close to her colleagues and old friends from the past, and she thought that reaching out to them would be the solution to her loneliness. But when she started making calls, she discovered that many of her friends had already moved on with their lives in ways she hadn't anticipated. Some were traveling more, others were busy with grandchildren, and some, sadly, seemed to have lost interest in staying in touch. What Susan had hoped for, a connection that would bring her warmth and comfort, didn't happen the way she imagined. It's natural to grieve the change in these friendships, but it's essential to recognize that not every friendship is meant to last forever. People change, and the dynamics of relationships shift. The friendships you once had may not align with your life today. And that's okay. Instead of clinging to what once was, you might find it healthier to embrace these changes. This is a time to forge new relationships that align with the person you are now, not the person you were years ago. Number 2. You might be looking for comfort in the wrong place. Loneliness after retirement often feels like an emotional weight, something you can't shake. The hustle and bustle of a busy work life suddenly fades away, and you might feel an overwhelming sense of emptiness that you weren't prepared for. It's normal to look for something familiar when you're feeling lost, and for many, old friendships become a comforting retreat. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Loneliness isn't just about missing people, it's often about missing purpose. The daily structure that once provided a sense of meaning and accomplishment, work, meetings, deadlines, has vanished. That lack of routine can make you feel aimless. And that feeling of aimlessness can lead to turning to friends as a way to fill the gap. You might believe that reconnecting with friends will bring you back to your old self, to that time when you had a sense of direction and excitement. But unfortunately, it's rarely that simple. Take Tom from Austin, Texas, for example. At 65, Tom retired from his engineering job. For the first few months, he thought that spending time with old friends would lift his spirits. But no matter how many times he reached out, he always felt something was missing. He spent hours talking to old friends, visiting them, and making plans to relive past memories, but the emotional emptiness didn't go away. It wasn't until he started volunteering at a local animal shelter that he realized what had been missing. Tom had been seeking companionship, but what he really needed was a sense of purpose. This realization was profound for him. If you find yourself in a similar situation, it's important to stop and reflect. Am I missing these people, or am I missing something deeper? True emotional fulfillment comes from rediscovering your own passions and finding ways to engage in activities that bring purpose to your life. It's not about filling the silence with people. It's about filling the silence with meaning. Number 3. Constant visits can lead to social imbalance. Friendships are meant to be a two-way street, where both individuals contribute to the relationship. However, when you're the one always initiating plans, always reaching out, always trying to keep the connection alive, it can create a lopsided dynamic. This imbalance often goes unnoticed at first, but over time, it becomes harder to ignore. Janice, a 73-year-old retiree from Denver, spent years staying close to her college friends. After retiring from her job as a librarian, she thought reconnecting with them would fill the void she was feeling. Week after week, she would call, visit, and make plans. But eventually, she noticed something troubling. Her friends never made the first move. They were always happy to see her, but they never initiated contact themselves. This realization made Janice feel undervalued, and worse, it made her question the authenticity of those relationships. Were they really interested in maintaining the friendship, or was she just filling a space for them? Janice's experience isn't unique. Many retirees feel as though they are the ones always putting in the effort, only to realize that the friendship has become more of a one-sided obligation. If you find yourself constantly reaching out while your friends stay passive, it might be time to step back. True friendships are built on mutual respect and effort. If someone values your presence, they will meet you halfway. Number 4. Relying on friends can prevent personal growth. It's perfectly natural to want companionship after retirement. In fact, retirement can feel like a vacuum without daily interactions with colleagues or the busy work schedule that once filled your days. But relying too heavily on old friends to fill that space can actually hinder your personal growth. Instead of embracing new experiences or stepping outside your comfort zone, you might find yourself clinging to the familiar, revisiting old friendships because they feel safe. Barbara, a 74-year-old widow from New York, spent years trying to keep in touch with her childhood friends. Every time she felt lonely, she would call them up or visit, trying to relive the good old days. But deep down, Barbara started noticing that these interactions no longer sparked the joy they once did. She wasn't growing. She wasn't discovering new things about herself. Instead, she was stuck in the past, avoiding change because it was easier to rely on the safety of old friendships. As we get older, growth doesn't stop. In fact, retirement should be a time to evolve and explore new interests. Barbara found fulfillment when she took up painting at a local community center, a hobby she had always dreamed of pursuing. It wasn't easy to let go of the comfort of her old friendships, but it was necessary for her to evolve. Number 5. Unbalanced friendships can drain your energy. Friendships should be a source of energy, connection, and mutual support. But if you find that spending time with certain friends leaves you feeling more exhausted than uplifted, it's a clear sign that the relationship may no longer serve you. Take Linda, a 78-year-old retiree from Los Angeles. She prided herself on being a loyal friend, always checking in on people she had known for years. But as time passed, Linda noticed that her visits to certain friends were leaving her emotionally drained. Some friends dominated the conversation with their negativity, while others seemed indifferent to her presence. She realized that instead of feeling refreshed by these interactions, she was left feeling isolated and depleted. If you've experienced something similar, it's important to acknowledge it. Your emotional energy is a limited resource, and spending it on relationships that drain you is not sustainable. True friendships should lift you up, not bring you down. It's okay to step back from relationships that no longer serve you, no matter how long you've known someone. Retirement is a new chapter in life, a chance to embrace new opportunities and reinvent yourself. But sometimes, we cling to old friendships out of habit, obligation, or loneliness. The key to thriving in retirement is not about holding on to what once was, but about creating new connections, finding purpose, and embracing growth. True fulfillment comes from within, and it's up to you to seek out the relationships, activities, and experiences that bring you joy and purpose. If you've made it this far, I want you to reflect on your own relationships and how they impact your well-being. Are there friendships that no longer serve you? Are you holding on to relationships out of fear of change? Let go of guilt and start focusing on relationships that nourish and uplift you. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which part of this video resonated with you the most? Have you ever found yourself holding on to friendships that no longer served you? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Your reflections are important to us, and they motivate us to continue creating content that informs, inspires, and empowers. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support means the world to us. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.